Welcome to Boss Moves. We back at it with some more commentary, centered on the financial and investment world like we always do it. We got the business phenom, Moses, in the house. What's up, Mo?
What's good, fellas? What's good? We in here.
Yes, sir. And we got that commercial real estate mogul, Trey, kicking it with us from the DR, the Dominican Republic.
What's
showing
going
us
on?
how it's done. What's up, bro?
Nothing much, family. Can't complain. Loving it.
Word. I know you are. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, let's get right into tonight's main topic. Your boy, Donnie Trump, his tax returns finally were turned over to Manhattan's district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's like 5 years too late, but I'm wondering what the implications of that might be. Mo, you are a resident taxes expert. What do you think they could at this point be looking for, and something that might criminalize them in any way?
Man, with Donald Trump, it ain't no telling. So, I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, at least the business mind of Trump and the business mind of anybody, they want to, whenever they're being audited or taxed, they want to make sure they show that they're making the lowest amount of money in income. So I'm sure they're going to look at that. I'm sure they're going to take a look at that, making sure that his income is what it says it is and what it actually is. But the one thing is that he's gotten loans of upwards of 100 million from banks that, are really giving him this money to make deals with. So that you have to show a certain level of income for that too. So, there's some funny stuff happening. I think even in the article, it said there was 300 million from Deutsche Bank. 300 million from Deutsche Bank that they loaned out to him. That's a lot of money. And then 100 million from Ladder Capital. So, I mean, there's some funny business going on.
Oh, definitely.
Man, and I thought I had some bills to agree.
But think about that. When you owe, so if you're gonna, and this all started before he was even, some people think before he even stole office. Right. But this all happened before that. We were trying to see what was going on with his finances to see who he was, who he owed money, because it's important. Just think about somebody owing some entity, some private entity, some public entity, 100 million, $300 million.
Especially if it's a foreign entity, right?
That's what people were suspecting. So that's what they were trying to see and what was being kept secret. So I'm even wondering at this point, like, was that just enough time to scrub it down, to make it, whatever it needed to be?
Yes.
In short,
yes.
Blank.
I mean, first off, he didn't pay taxes at all. So, I mean, his books are cooked from the beginning. So yes, he just had a few more years just to get his things in order, get his affairs in order. And plus, he can't really get a tarnished. You don't really want a tarnished record on a president like that, especially about taxes. So wait till he gets out of office and then go ahead and trump up the charges.
No pun.
No pun.
But is there anything? I don't think there's anything that can tarnish him anymore. Like he this is the president who made everything so dirty that nobody was ever surprised at anything that happened. It's like it didn't matter what he did, his followers, supported him. And people started getting I think everybody became desensitized to all the BS.
Oh yeah. And that's really what happens. I remember I was reading recently, I believe it's Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, 50 Cent's new book. And he was basically saying how, he's with these corporate bigwigs at with the G Unit Film and TV and Power and everything, but they don't censor his Instagram or his Facebook or whatever he has, all of his social media, because he set the bar almost so low in terms of class.
Right.
It's like they don't care. It's like, okay, he just said that on his Instagram. We don't care. It's 50 cents.
It doesn't harm him.
Yeah, exactly. He said it's part of his brand, and you almost have to embrace it as part of his brand. And it's weird because it's something that I even struggle with sometimes. It might be something silly or something. I'm like, I can't really post that on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
I'm a commercial real estate agent. You know what I mean? And it might not even be anything terrible, but it just doesn't fit my brand. So I almost kind of respect people who do have that freedom to be able to just say whatever they want to and still be able to do business at a high level. So, take it or leave it, really.
Yeah, with him, he hadn't changed. So he started out in the dirt. So at this point, nothing was surprising. He started that way. But think about somebody who's, pristine, somebody who hadn't been doing anything like that, and then they say something crazy. Oh, the world's in an uproar. It's like, whoa, I don't want to do business with him. All these brands I'm moving away from and all of this. So Donnie was the same way. I mean, he was so shitty. Everybody was just like, oh,
ain't get no lower.
The next thing.
Right.
No lower. But what I'm gonna do, I'm going to share my screen and we're gonna look into. Am I able to do that? Yeah. We're gonna look into the article a little bit more. There it is. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, just gonna skim through it a little bit. The prosecutors obtained the records on Monday, just hours after the U.S. Supreme Court denied his last-ditch effort to keep the records private, which I think that was just kind of a show. I mean, I think at this point, this is when they were supposed to be released. New York District Attorney Cy Vance is investigating whether Trump and the Trump Organization engaged in tax fraud, insurance fraud, and other schemes to defraud, including potentially providing false information to financial institutions or banks about the value of certain buildings and assets. Now, that's something different. That could come back to bite them.
Yeah, big time.
Because like you said, Mo, what they try to do is, I want to make it seem like, and as a businessman and as a business, I've done this for years, I want to make it seem like I ain't make no money. Like,
absolutely.
I want to find every write-off, everything I spent money on that's related to the business. So on paper, on the books, I might look like I'm in a negative.
Right.
But I'm in an extra 50, 60, 70, 80 as a small entrepreneur. 80,000.
Let me ask y'all a question, though. And this is kind of the thing when you switch over, and I don't mean to stop your flow, Charles,
no.
But this is just kind of the thing when you switch over from business to politics. To be honest with you, in business, that mindset is applauded and rewarded. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, you didn't pay any taxes? Teach me your ways.
You're the man.
But it's weird how when you go to president, since president is just looked at, and it is, as a service to the people. You understand what I'm saying? It almost seems sinister to not pay taxes because the taxes are going to help the people. Right. So it's just weird how he's a businessman and a shrewd businessman, but when he comes over to politics, he's getting scrutinized for the things that he was really getting applauded for. Because I'm sure hasn't been paying taxes for years. It's not like he just popped up one year. And it's just because he has to submit taxes because he's gonna be president. So that's where really kind of the uproar came from. Yeah. So it's just a balancing act.
And we all know how you are protected when you place your business in an entity, as in an LLC. Right. So you already have a umbrella of protection around you. So it's harder to get to you and your personal assets. So I think this is going to be a lost cause. But, we'll see what happens, how it plays out. But I'm sure Trump has the best tax lawyers around to kind of make sure that it took this long for us to even know what his taxes are. Well, we don't know. We still don't know what they are. We won't know what they are.
Yeah, the article says that they're sealed still. We still won't ever get to, I don't know about ever. Right now, they're sealed by a grand jury.
Right.
So we won't know. They'll tell us what they want to tell us, and we know how the backroom deals and the side deals and everything.
Right.
With that, it could say literally whatever. He talked to the right people. It's swept under the rug. It happens all the time.
Right.
Absolutely.
But there are several characterizations of Trump as not the greatest businessman. Like, I think that's just, he's done such a great job of branding himself as an amazing real estate mogul throughout the years that when you really, and what he really might have been trying to hide is the fact that he's taken so many losses on properties, on deals, on businesses, these bankruptcies. he might be trying to protect his brand as this.
Well, I mean, that you got to realize that's all he has.
It is.
Trump is really nothing but a brand. Even
Right.
most of the hotels that he has, it's really just licensing. And a lot of the failed ventures that he's had, you know, he used to have like bottled water. Trump has had all type of just random businesses, but all it really is licensing. He's almost like a Tekashi 6ix9ine. It's
Right.
like, let me just keep my name in the news, and that way people will want to hire me or just use my name for the celebrity appeal. But I mean, really, when you talk about it, I mean, yeah, he's licensing his name for hotels. They're not really his hotels. He's not really running hotels like that.
Right.
You know,
he's a celebrity
anymore. Yeah, on his name. And
Right.
this is similar, you know, not to get off too far, but this is similar to kind of what Prince's estate is going through right now. I'm not sure if y'all kind of know, but Prince's estate is going through litigation due to them saying that the value of his assets are lower than what the IRS has valued them as. And that's what Trump is going through, the same situation here. So, you know, like I said, we'll see how it plays out.
Wow. Okay. So his estate is saying like, hey, y'all are valuing this stuff way too high.
Way too high.
Oh.
And if it's valued higher, you paying more taxes.
Higher taxes.
Right, pay more taxes.
And nobody wants to pay higher taxes. Everybody wants to try to hide, you know, money here, there. They don't want to pay nothing to the government. Nobody wants to pay nothing
That's
more
right.
than they have to.
I mean, think about how many times we're taxed, man. We're taxed on goods when we buy them. So you got and you got the income tax. You got the tax on goods when you buy goods. You got property tax. You got you got like 7 different types of tax, and they kind of start overlapping.
Right, like just like the wealth transfer tax. I mean, think you make $1 million, you get taxed on it, then you pass it down your children, and you got to get taxed on it.
They get taxed on it.
Right, they get taxed just for getting it. So I mean, it's literal double taxation.
So the real heroes and the real savvy people are the ones that figure out how to keep their money and their assets away from the IRS.
And to be honest with you, and Mo, I'm glad you kind of put me up on game. I'm really surprised to hear Prince's estate really even going through that situation, because I mean, really everything needs to be tied up in terms of trust and wills.
Yes.
You know, everything, power of attorneys, all type of things need to be tied up long before you pass away, especially when you have, you know, assets such as Prince. So, because, you know, once you get into trust and everything else, I mean, the court really doesn't have too much say so over it. No. And you're able to bypass taxes a lot of times, and you know, trust. So
with a trust, you can
have with a trust
for big things like houses and
right,
maybe cars even. So, but if you have small things like, you know, dishes and, you know, I want to give my kids my records, you can just have a will for that. Right. But, you know, big things, you know, you don't want to go through court because that litigation will go on for years.
Absolutely.
Years, and you just be spending money that way, more money than if you would have just got a trust in the beginning, which will cost you up front, but then on the back end your kids won't have to not only grieve the loss of your life, but also try to get what is theirs, you know, what's the family's.
If you're talking about an estate worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you know,
right,
putting that trust in place, it really makes me think of, because, you know, you get into conspiracy theories about Prince, about Michael, about certain other people who, as soon as they passed, you have these big legal battles about their estate, about valuations of their estate. Same thing happened with Michael. They were arguing about the value of his estate, and who had the rights to it. Was it the family? Was it the lawyers? How would it was crazy. So and then you even think about their masters and who was trying to get their hands on this and that, and, you know, what Michael was doing right before he passed. So
owning everything, right.
Yeah.
On the Beatles masters.
Exactly.
He owned half of Sony.
Well, he was and they said he was having like a liquidity issue right before he passed, and, you know, that's why he signed on to do that tour. That tour. It was like $50 million, 50 cities or something like that, which is going to put him back in the black. But what they were doing at the time, they were about to take some of that catalog from him. And then he, you know, being the genius that he was, came up with something like, yo, okay, I'm gonna do this countrywide tour, and it's gonna get me up 50, 75 million real fast, and I'm gonna be straight, and I'm gonna have all my stuff.
Right.
Somebody didn't like that, and but see, and I believe those things. Like, I believe a lot of that stuff, a lot of the things that the Black community has, people have called the conspiracy theories for several years. All of them have rolled out. We found the documents nowadays. Like, even with Malcolm, most recently.
I'm about to say,
anybody watch that?
Oh, that's crazy, right?
I just watched the whole thing, man. Like,
I haven't watched the whole, documentary or anything. I just know about the new information that came out.
Yeah.
Which documentary? Who killed Malcolm X?
Yeah. Yeah. That connects the FBI and the NYPD.
Yeah.
Right.
All the informants that were inside the nation, inside his personal camp. And
his main security guards were
main security
informants, right?
The main guy that was right there in front, that like right there in front of him when he got shot. Like, where was he? He's a cop,
right?
And he just he watched it.
Right.
He's the one that gave him mouth to mouth, but he just stood there and watched it.
Wow. His usual detail got arrested for Statue of Liberty bombing or something.
Oh, right before, planning.
Before it all happened.
Well, they did that on purpose. Even that NYPD officer was like, "Yeah." So we were trying to, or the FBI, one of them, either the FBI or the NYPD. The guy being interviewed said that, what we would try to do is come up with these little like fake actions that we were planning and get them to say they were going to do it or they were going to participate, and then go pick them up. And we got them to do it right before their Audubon ballroom speech.
And people don't realize those things are still going on. COINTELPRO didn't go anywhere.
Oh my God.
Those things are still going on. There's every single Nation of Islam mosque, there's FBI agents to this day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You put any kind of coalition together, anything, there's going to be agents. Rappers, they have all type of Tekashis.
You know he a fed.
Bro, I don't even know why folks are talking to him. If I saw him, I'd go the other way. I'd be like,
I just walk the other way. And they're talking about, I know we all off topic, but we're going to talk about it. They're talking about, his whole thing with Meek Mills lately. And they call him Meek, Meek, you a bitch, you didn't beat him up and all. Meek is the smartest dude in the room. He was like, I ain't about to be, he got cops all around him. I'm about to get arrested and go back to prison because this little dude is back here jawing. Come on, man.
But time out. The little dude, Tekashi, is the cop. If he was by himself.
If he was alone.
Right.
This is true. He's the informant. He's the informant. But some of them dudes protecting him, they got a shield too.
All of them.
Straight up.
Not some.
Whatever happened to the number one rule? Snitches get stitches, man. Whatever happened to it?
Man,
they get surrounded by 12 CIA officers.
This is the new kids, man. This is the new kids.
New generation.
But I mean, one of my biggest points that I've been saying for years is that people laugh at quote unquote conspiracy theories. But all of the things, you can name like 15 different things that were quote unquote conspiracy theories that we get the docs on 20, 30, 40, 50 years later. And we find out in the Black community, we were always right. Because we've been saying, we've been whispering about this stuff for, 40 years.
Yeah.
It was always something we knew and understood. People always like, oh yeah, the cops did that. Like,
even in the 90s, I think it was the 90s or early 2000s, they came out and said the FBI killed. It was the FBI, the police killed Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that was the late 90s.
Like the late 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think the late 90s they started that, and we were just like,
20, 30 years later, we always find out. Right. Who else killed you? Who else is out here killing people?
Man.
But you think of this, but think of how sophisticated it is now. Okay, that was then. That was, I think their level of sophistication wasn't even at the level they are now. Now they got the technology,
but
that blows it out of the water.
It's not that though. It's the fear. They've had technology for years. I remember there was this one FBI agent. He was talking about, this is like back in the 70s or something. He was talking about a gun they have.
A heart attack gun.
With a dart, and it induces a heart attack.
They had to go to a grand jury and talk about that.
Wow.
So exactly, it was a grand jury.
That's on film.
Like
yeah.
They've been had the technology. When they blow your brains out on camera, that's fear. That puts fear in your heart.
That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, exactly. That's for everybody else.
Right. If Martin Luther King would have died of a heart attack, that ain't nothing. But if you know there's some mysterious organization out there that is running around killing your leaders, that's a completely different thing. And getting away with it with impunity.
You close your mouth.
They even said, not to get off on conspiracy theories, they were even talking about Dr. Dre and these brain aneurysms. Like Johnny Cochran with his brain aneurysm. Dr. Dre, he's in this divorce suit and everything else, billions of dollars being thrown around. Billions. You know, and then it's a brain aneurysm. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, that Johnny Cochran one, you know what he was working on right before he passed.
I know he was trying to free some people from prison, I believe, or something.
It was a couple things. He was doing the prison thing. He was working on the whole reparations settlement.
Oh, yeah, reparations.
Like he was talking about reparations. Right. It was something else, too, that I didn't know. I just found out recently that he was working on real deep. It was something about, I think it was something about poverty, something with poor people and poverty or something. I don't know. But needless to say, he couldn't stick around.
Yeah, he was a real one. Yeah.
Yeah, that man could not stick around.
Man.
But yeah, to move us back to topic, just we got off on one, but hey, we're gonna do that because that's our purview as well. These taxes and the implications of taxes. I mean, you know, that's more. You know, we really need to pay attention as a people to what we're doing with regard to tax. You know, I know a lot of people, they just go get their little tax done at the tax lady when it's tax time. I know when you're not dealing with a whole lot of dollars or you're dealing with businesses, it seems like that's cool to do. But I know several years ago, when I was right out of college, there was a tax preparer. It was called Ball and Associates. I'm gonna always say their name. Ball and Associates was in my apartment complex. Actually, my wife, it was my girlfriend at the time. In her apartment complex, there was a place called Ball and Associates, and everybody was going to Ball and Associates. And I know everybody done heard stuff like this. Yeah, man, go to this lady, man. She'll get you like $5,000. She'll get you $6,000. She'll get you this. She'll get you that. It's like, yo, and everybody was doing that. And it came to me, and I was like, yo, I'm not about to do that. That shit it's gonna come back. Trust me. Can't nobody just get you $6,000 and you single. Like it don't work like that.
Right.
So needless to say, like 3-4 years later, all of those people got audited. Every single one of them were audited. And going back to try to find Ball and Associates, of course they disappeared off the face of the planet.
Right.
Closed down shop, and I'm sure they were in a new name the next year. But I seen that happen a couple times. Yeah, these young people got seriously audited and had to pay all this money, got threatened with jail time. And
to be honest with you, really, there are ways to do the Trump, you know, avoiding taxes, even on a small level. Every family should have a home business, have the kids working as employees. You understand what I'm saying? And you can write off certain things. You can buy employee cars, and these are the cars you.
All you need is a business.
16.
Yeah, and you don't have to even have employees. If you ain't got no kids, all you need is a business, and everything is a write-off. Legitimately,
a home-based business. You're right. A home-based
legitimately.
Business. You can write off your house. You can write off part of your house.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Maybe part of your garage, because that's where you park your car. You know what I'm saying? Your work vehicle.
Or the office, the place you use for your office.
Yeah.
I have a couple of those, office areas in the crib.
Yeah, definitely can do that.
You know, a lot of us are afraid of really using the IRS, using write-offs to legitimately save money.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's just a knowledge thing. Us not really knowing about it.
Right. People don't know that they can write off clothes. They can write off cars. They can write off, mortgage interests and all that other stuff. So, I mean, it's wild how the game is played. And once you learn the game, you will never turn back.
Absolutely, especially like in real estate. You know, real estate agents. I hope everybody who's a real estate agent out there, yeah, definitely take advantage of anything you can in terms of any kind of tax breaks and write-offs.
Right.
Yeah. So I think in the future, I think we'll do a special show on write-offs. We'll do maybe top write-offs for home-based business or something like that to help our folks. I think that's a good topic. What you think, Mo? The tax prep.
Yeah, Mo's definitely gonna be the leader for that meeting.
You got to run point on that, Mo.
We all know this. We all know some of these.
That's true. But we'll defer to you though.
Right,
we'll defer to you. How about that?
Mo be like, according to law 503C, it states.
Right.
That's a good topic. That's a good topic for the people.
That's a great. We're gonna get that popping. Hey, with that, man, we're gonna go ahead and bring an end to this one. Talking about your boy Donnie. Everybody, check us out. Big D. Check us out. bmbainvesting.com. That is our investment group website. Check us out on stayfreshcc.com. That's our director. Nashville, Tennessee, Mormons Arm. And check us out on social media. Boss Moves _BMBA on Instagram and on Twitter. Right, Mo?
That's it.
Boom, I got it. So, all right, brothers. It's been a great one. And I'll see you.
Gentlemen, as always, family.
Peace.